great relationships sometimes struggle, they go through, um, they can become strained along the line. Misunderstandings can happen. There are times where there'll be pride. There are times where there'll be distance, there'll be offense, there'll be disappointments, there'll be silence. A strained relationship does not have to always end up permanently. It can be restored. If you try to do it on your own, it might be difficult. If you try to restore some kinds of relationship using human wisdom, trust me, you'll get back to the same place where it looks frustrating. It's God who brings healing. Learn to forgive early, and then remember how much you have been forgiven by Jesus. Sometimes when you are forgiving people, you say, "Oh, you want to see if the person is really sorry. You want to see if the person has changed before you forgive completely." What's up, guys? Welcome to Conversations with Elton. My name is Elton, your host. This is a space where we have real conversations about life, growth, and the things we don't talk about much. If this is your first time, you are welcome. If you've been here with us before, thank you for rocking with us. Now, let's talk. So, in this season, we've been looking at the topic of relationships, and I hope you've been blessed. Thank you, those of you who have been commenting and sending us your insights. It's so encouraging. So, I'm here to conclude what we've been looking at um, when it comes to the very important topic of relationships. We've said that relationships are supposed to be a blessing to you. And before I go on, I said relationships general, um, family, um, brother sister relationship, even beloved or girlfriend and marriage relationships. All the things we've shared here will be a blessing to you. So if you've not seen any of them, I want to encourage you to go and look at them. But one of the things we've established that relationships have been designed by God to be a blessing. And we've also said relationships can be complicated sometimes, but it does not mean that it's not supposed to be a blessing to you. God always gives us the wisdom to navigate every kind of relationship that we have. One of the things we've established is that there are different kinds of relationships. There are some relationships that help you to complete an assignment. There are some too that in your life that help you for your destiny. So there are some people who are supposed to be in your life forever or for long, for very long, to help you fulfill that call of God upon your life. When you look through the Bible, you see the many people had great relationships. We've said that even great relationships sometimes struggle. They go through. Um, they can become strained along the line. Misunderstandings can happen. There are times where there'll be pride. There are times where there'll be distance. There'll be offense. There'll be disappointments. There'll be silence. So relationships struggle along the line. So if you're struggling with the relationship you have, that's fine. It does not mean that it's not working or it can never work. Um, so we are looking at how to restore broken relationships, especially relationships that are supposed to be in your life forever. Some relationships actually need healing. They need God's wisdom. They need, what I'm saying is that they need restoration. For example, Paul and Mark, when you look through the scripture, you realize that from the beginning they had a strained relationship, but later you hear Paul talking and giving a great report about Mark. That's how it is. From the beginning, it can look challenging. Sometimes you can be going through a challenging moment with your relationship, but it does not mean you should give up. It means that it can work one of the days. So that tells us something very powerful, that a strained relationship does not have to always end up permanently. It can be restored. So restoration is possible. You know, our very first season of this podcast, we're looking at the topic of restoration. So how do we restore broken relationships? One of the first things you have to understand is that it starts with God. For us Christians, one of the things that has been on my mind recently that I've been sharing is the fact that a Christian is the most advantaged person. One, because of the availability of grace. God gives us abundant grace. God continually gives us grace. So the Christian is an advantaged person in this life. We also have the Holy Spirit who is living inside of us and with us. And Bible calls him our helper. So it starts with God. Now, if you try to do it on your own, it might be difficult. If you try to restore some kinds of relationship using human wisdom, trust me, you'll get back to the same place where it looks frustrating. It's God who brings healing. So if your relationship needs healing, trust me, God is ready and He's willing to bring healing to you. Um, Even in cases where sometimes it looks like restoration looks impossible, God does turns impossible situations into possible miracles. So don't give up on any relationship, especially if there's God inside. With God, all things are possible. So the second thing we have to know, if you are good, so the first one I said, it starts with God. Go to God, pray about the situation. There's sometimes you've talked to so many people, it's still not working. Different people have come into the situation to try to restore the relationship, but it's not working. Just go to God and talk to God. Tell God how you feel. Tell God how you need His help to go about restoring a broken relationship. So the second point, if you are going to restore broken relationships, is that we have to understand that we have to accept that the relationship may not be the same. You see, restoration is not pretending that there's no damage. Um, Restoration is choosing to heal despite the damage. The truth and the truth is that there are some times where relationships even become better after a healing has taken place. One mistake we do, or sometimes we make when we are trying to restore relationships, is that we go think pretending that nothing has happened. But healing always requires honesty. We have to know that the relationship is not the same. We don't talk like we used to talk. Things are not the same anymore. Like sometimes you go back thinking that, oh, things should just go back to the way they used to be. Trust me, sometimes trust takes time to be built. It takes a while to trust your neighbor. It takes a while to still flow with somebody that it was difficult flowing with. So healing requires honesty. Don't pretend like there's nothing happening. Trust, as I said, it takes time to be built. Sometimes it takes time for communication to improve. Like how you used to talk, it's not like that anymore because a hurt came along the line. It takes time, but that's okay. It's possible. Once it's taking time, don't give up. So the second point is that the relationship might never be the same again. The third thing we have to understand when we are going to restore broken relationships is that we have to go with the intention to restore the relationship, not to win an argument. This is very important. Some people say they want restoration, but when they go, they want to be right before restoration comes. But it's better, as we always say, it's better to win a relationship than to win an argument. Some of you have lost relationships you have because you tried winning the argument, you tried winning the fight, and so you lost a relationship you were not supposed to lose. So if you are going to restore broken relationships, one of the things we have to understand is that we should go with the mindset for the relationship to win, so that in your conversation you tell the person, look, things might have happened, but I don't really care if you are wrong or I'm wrong, or you are right or I'm right. I just want this relationship to work. Really, one of the things is that when there's pride, it takes so much work to restore um, a broken relationship. Pride never allows you to restore a broken relationship. So um, sometimes the relationship matters more than trying to prove a point. And I think it's one of the things that happens. Sometimes we're talking to Christians and trying to help them restore their relationship, and everybody's trying to prove their point instead of allowing the relationship to win. So they go in the mind not for the relationship to be established or to become better, but they go in the mind to be right. That does not work. The fourth thing we have to do, or fourth truth we need if we are going to restore broken relationships, is learn to apologize properly. A genuine apology is powerful. Um, there are some people, when they're apologizing, they want to defend themselves. So they say, oh, I'm sorry for doing this. I did it because you did this. There shouldn't be a but or because after you apologize. You just say that I'm sorry, I did this, I'm wrong. You don't have to give a reason why you are apologizing, or you don't have to be defensive when it comes to even your apology. You don't have to say, I'm sorry, but you also, or I did this because you also did that. Listen, once you start doing that, the apology becomes an argument. Then you go back to the point where you are trying to win an argument instead of making the relationship stand. So own your part, see where you were wrong, tell yourself, I was wrong with it, I was wrong with this, I said this, I shouldn't have said that. Don't say you also said this or you also said that. Guys, you need to learn to say sorry properly. The fifth point, if you are going to restore our broken relationships, is that you should be ready to forgive. Um, Once the other person apologizes, you forgive. Even before the person apologizes, Bible commands us to forgive. Forgiveness is a decision. Forgiveness is not a feeling. Some people say, "Oh, I don't feel like I want to forgive the person." It's a choice you need to make. Sometimes you don't feel like eating, but you end up eating because it's necessary. Sometimes you don't feel like studying in school. Sometimes you just don't feel like cleaning your room, but you have to do it because it's necessary. It's a decision you make regardless of the way you are feeling. And that is how the choice of forgiveness also works. You must make a decision to forgive instead of holding on to bitterness. And I realized that in my personal experience, once a matter is repeated over and over, once the hurt is repeated over and over, not even somebody repeating the hurt to you, but once you are repeating the hate to yourself, you are thinking about it, processing it. This is what you did. This is what the person did. How could she have done this? The more you do that, the more the pain goes deep, the more it sinks, the more it becomes difficult. But this is a beautiful truth. Forgiveness brings peace. Forgiveness brings healing to you. Forgiveness is not for the benefit of the next person. Sometimes you hear somebody say, "I will not forgive the person. I want the person to feel bad." Listen, you would rather feel bad. Forgiveness is first for you before it is for the person. Once you forgive, you realize that peace has come to your mind, freedom has come to your mind. You don't have to think about how do I relate with this person when I meet the person. It will just happen because you have forgiven the person. So healing becomes possible when there's forgiveness. So, guys, how do we forgive? Learn to forgive early. And then remember how much you have been forgiven by Jesus. Sometimes when you are forgiving people, you say, "Oh, you want to see if the person is really sorry. You want to see if the person has changed before you forgive completely." But that's not the way God has called us to forgive. Then again, restoration requires God's help. So forgiveness also, you require grace. It's easy to talk about forgiveness when you are not in a situation. But grace helps us no matter the situation. So I hope these 5 points have helped you. And I pray you are going to restore your broken relationships. Listen, not every relationship can be restored, but there are some that, trust me, when depending on you need to go and work towards restoration. Remember, you need God's help. God will help you. Let go of your pride. Let's go of your side of the story. You've held on to your side and what the person did. You've said it over and over, but it's not helped you. So I want to encourage you, be humble enough to reach out to somebody, be mature enough to apologize, and be gracious enough to forgive somebody. So God bless you. I hope that you restore a relationship. I hope you restore a relationship with your dad, with your mom, and send us your testimony of how God has helped you restore a broken relationship. So God bless you. Before you go, I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to go to my YouTube channel and subscribe Conversations with Elton. And I want you to also turn on your post notifications. And let's keep the conversations going. Bye.